Bar Talk.
From the belly of the news beast in Lower Manhattan, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. And if you're watching on the AFA channel, that's the Charging Bull of Wall Street. Right here at the corner of Broad and Wall, we are glad to be with you each weekday. Some additional headlines that I didn't get to. I have about 6 or 7 that we could have talked about today. What was this one? Oh, yes. Oh, this is sad. This is very sad. Get back to the calls on Iraq in a second. The city of New York is now reporting that the sausage pizza, it was in third place behind the cheese slice and the pepperoni slice. The sausage pizza has now fallen, taking its place on the hierarchy of most popular pizza slices. Buffalo chicken. They got the Canadian bacon and pineapple, the artichokes, and ziti. I cannot imagine eating an artichoke pizza. That just makes me want to choke just thinking about it. But yeah, there was one guy, let's see, the Carmine Street Pizzeria. It's fallen off over the last 10 or 15 years, says Pozzoli. A guy named Pozzoli runs the Carmine Street Pizzeria in New York. Can you imagine that? Pozzoli says, 30 years ago, I would order 30 to 40 pounds of sausage a week. Now I order very little, 2 or 3 pounds max. That's so sad. Sausage pizza is good. Yummy, especially in New York. Anyway, welcome. It's Kevin McCullough. Glad you're with us. 888-589-8840. The story over the weekend continues to be the advances that Al-Qaeda is making towards Baghdad. And the doing is just hideous. There's this one picture that's up on Drudge, even on the homepage right now, where they've got like a whole ditch full of Iraqi soldiers that they laid face down and just shot them up, just like the Nazis and Jews in World War II. These are people, those guys are people that were there to try to defend the free country of Iraq. Evidently, people like Billy, who called last segment, don't care about people's freedom. They don't care about, hey, if bad guys are going to come get them, let them come get them, just so long as it doesn't bother us. That's a lot of people's perspective, by the way. The vast majority of conversations I've had in the last 48, 72 hours have been with people along those exact same lines. And I'm not even trying to convince them otherwise. What I'm asking is, if at the end of the day the equation is you have a staging ground whereby other attacks come to the United States, the guy that's in charge of all of them, al-Baghdadi, Baghdad with an I, al-Baghdadi, he's said to be something like 10 times worse than Osama bin Laden. He was in one of our detainee camps, and on his way out, as he's leaving, the reservists that were guarding him, he slices his neck and goes, "I'll see you in New York." These guys, they hate us. They want to take us down. There's no doubt about that. So if at the end of the equation of whatever the next days, weeks, months hold, after the equal sign, if you're doing a mathematical equation, 2 + 2 equals, if whatever comes in the equal space of the equation means that we get attacked with another large-scale massive attack because they have a staging ground by which to coordinate and to do what they want to do, will that have been worth it to not do anything now? I think it's a fair question, and I don't think it's a leading question. I'm all for your perspective on if that's the reality. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Jimmy in Alabama next. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I enjoy you guys' show. I'm thankful for you guys taking the stand.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My comment, I kind of relate a little bit to Cynthia's comment about our borders and here, but in relation to your question, and this is pretty blunt, bomb them back to the Stone Age. I mean, the Middle East has been a hotbed for this kind of activity for years and years, but with the threat of a nuclear bomb being detonated here, whether it be through the borders or sailing across the into our country, I think we need to quell it now or we will face consequences in the future.
Well, and to be totally fair, I don't know that the group that's in Iraq has any power or aspiration for nuclear stuff. But here's the way that region of the world works, and this is what bothers me. They set up their staging grounds, but then they have like kind of unique access. North Korea can get into Syria, can get into Iran, can get into Russia. You've got some weird kind of connections of people that can do different things to pass along information, technologies, other things. It doesn't take a lot of information to actually move nuclear know-how from one country to the next. So you get a scientist or two on a plane. You get inside of a large enough suitcase, a few of the rudimentary tools that you need. There's all kinds of things to begin building the types of tools that can be used to advance great amounts of destruction. The guy that's running this Sunni insurgency in Iraq right now hates America and wants to see us suffer. There's no question about that. If it's possible to take him down, even with a drone strike, if we could get his little line of ants, the trucks that are running from one city to the next, we just take them down. I mean, at least slow him down, do things that in a way make it very, very difficult for him to advance. I think what's the downside to that? I don't know. If you can do that with drone technology, do it. If you can do it with F-18s, F-35s, between the Navy and the Air Force, whatever you got to do, do it. If the cardinal sin for us is no more boots on the ground ever, and we're not going to cross that line. And by the way, why do we even need to announce that? That can be our policy, by the way. I'm fine with that being the policy. What I'm not fine with is the president going out on the TV, under no circumstances ever will we fight back with boots on the ground, ever, ever, ever. Because I think while most of the Al-Qaeda thugs are pretty dumb when it comes to, understanding any culture outside of their own, when you say stuff like that, they actually pay attention. Oh, no punishment. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, then we can just go kill whoever we want. We got it. We're on it. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Kenny in Texas. Hi, Kenny.
Yes, this is Kenny from Houston, Texas. I was just
Hi, Kenny. Kevin McCullough. Glad to have you with us. What's your thought?
Well, my thoughts on the whole thing is that we're sitting ducks if we don't do anything, because really, to be honest with you, these guys are a threat. They're a threat to the national lands, to the country, period, because their target is not what they're doing right now. Their target is America in the end. The big target is what they're fighting for. And the big target is to hurt America. And eventually they're going to take out all what they need, and then they're going to get the weapons, and they're going to get what they need to attack us. And if we stay like sitting ducks and not do anything about it now, later on we'll be fighting a bigger fight than we have. I believe in taking them out and taking care of business at hand right now, and that's taking out the threat.
Kenny, why do you suppose it has taken the administration so long and they still haven't made a decision about what to do yet?
No, because again, they're I guess Obama and the administration. I don't know if they're more concerned about or they taking into consideration that the families and the people that they're saying no, we rather not have our soldiers go over there and get killed and worry about the war, and it's too expensive. It's a costly thing. It's a money driven issue. We can't do that. Maybe that's one of my thoughts on this whole thing.
Maybe so. It's just, I read the headline, and this is kind of incredible. They say they take in $1.9 trillion this year, record revenues into the government. $1.9 trillion. By the way, you and I worked for every penny of that. The government didn't make any of that up. They didn't invent a bunch of money and then add it to the pool outside. No, that was American. We were taxed $1.9 trillion and contributed that to the Washington, D.C.'s efforts to govern us. That was all from us. And, we got the president flying to Palm Springs, making sure that, after he gives a climate talk in Los Angeles, flies an airplane from Los Angeles to Palm Springs. It's not that far. Just so he can play some golf. And then the family's catching up to him, so they got to fly another plane out there. And, he's like criticizing people for being doubtful of climate change and all the rest. And then he's out there burning carbon like it's going out of style, and money. It's just interesting. The arguments that people make about, we can't afford one more penny for national defense. Really? But we got money for all this other kind of stuff. Silly stuff. Like, climate change. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Hugh in West Virginia. Hello, Hugh.
Hello, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. I had a pleasant Father's Day with my sons, and back at it today. And anytime I see your name pop up on the screen, I know it's going to be a good call. What's your thoughts?
Oh, good. I almost agree with you.
Okay. In what way?
But I think we're joining the wrong people. I don't think we should. Well, I do think we should just let them decimate themselves and kill each other off. And I don't think we should stick our heads in the sand. I think we're drowning the wrong people. We should be drowning the ayatollahs and imams that are putting these silly ideas into the heads of barbarians and promising them 72 virgins for jihad. If that wasn't occurring, then these dumb barbarians wouldn't know what to think. So we ought to be going after their clergy.
Well, and I don't even know who the most powerful clerics are for the Sunni, like Al-Qaeda, ISIS movement. Like the mullahs in Iran, now they're starting to get the hair on the back of their neck raised because they're saying, hey, these guys are going to go after Shia holy sites, and we're going to at least protect those that are in the Iraqi border. In fact, there's a new headline on CBS News just this minute. The head of Iran's elite paramilitary force is now in Baghdad. So it looks like Iran is going to join the effort. And this will get, I suspect, considerably more bloody before it gets more peaceful. But I don't, even if you could take out all of the clergy, Hugh, that poison the minds of these people, I don't know that we know who those are on the Sunni side. I think it's very easy to identify the ones that are running Iran and kind of the Shia branch of Islam, but the Sunni side seems to be the much more difficult part. And then you're talking about Wahhabi, which is even the smaller sect, broken off from Sunni, that is really, really, really the bad guys. Let's go to Rosie in Texas. Rosie, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. So glad you're with us at 888-589-8840. What's on your mind? Rosie, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, I just want to give a thought. I think that America became is a great nation because of what we provide to other countries by helping them in time of need. Mm-hmm. And I see that the president may be seemingly protecting the soldiers from getting hurt or being killed, but actually people who go into the army or navy or whatever are gifted by God to fight. And it doesn't mean that we will send them right away. I'm sure we have to do caution. But firemen, nurses, and everybody else have the gift of service. We cannot protect them by letting them sit on their butt. Like the firemen would go to start a fire, and there's a risk, there may be some who might die during that thing. You know what I mean? I'm still for helping other countries, but we need to take caution, of course, not just sending the boots on the ground so rapidly.
I totally agree. If you do some sort of knee-jerk response, to quote Billy from earlier in the show, which I have not advocated, much to his chagrin, if you pull a knee-jerk reaction, you just say, yeah, we're going to flood 100,000 troops over there, and you don't have any kind of strategy about what you're doing, then you're asking for trouble. And that's extremely problematic. But I think that the equal extreme to the other side is to not do anything and to allow the big deserts of Syria and Iraq become a staging ground for something that we can't control, we can't see into, we can't know the events of. And we're losing, if we let Iraq fall into the hands of the terrorists, we're losing the second most valuable ally we have in the Middle East, Israel being the only other one. But Iraq is certainly dependent upon us right now. I was reminded of this, by the way, thinking about the Korean conflict this weekend, because it took us years and decades to help South Korea really begin to thrive and to do everything that they needed by way of the cooperation of the United States in their country. After Japan, we went into Japan and we didn't let them do anything for a couple of decades. And now today they're a very strong ally with the United States. When we have had the patience to help a country recover from war in the past, as we are there, it's always worked out well for us. Giving this one up to Al-Qaeda, I'm afraid, is very dangerous. Anyway, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us each weekday. If you got more thoughts, you want to drop them my way, my email address is kmcradio@gmail.com, kmcradio@gmail.com. And, of course, you can find out more on the Facebook page, afatoday.com, the easiest way to find that, afatoday.com. And you can also tweet at me at KMC Radio. Kevin McCullough, glad to be with you each weekday. Brian Fisher, the Silver Fox, one of those other horrible, terrible people that Billy was talking about that's the voice of this network. He's coming your way next with Focal Point. And we hope that you'll be back with us tomorrow at this same time for AFA Today on AFR Talk. I'm Kevin McCullough. Happy Monday.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.